Tonight, we're going to drift into something extraordinary together. Something that has captivated human imagination since we first looked up at the stars and wondered if we were truly alone. Some mind-blowing alien theories. I'm going to share with you some of the most compelling, most fascinating theories about alien life that exist beyond our world. Not the sensationalized stories you see in movies, but the genuine scientific possibilities and unexplained phenomena that make even the most skeptical researchers pause and wonder. These are the theories that bridge the gap between what we know and what might be possible, told in a way that will let your mind explore while your body relaxes. Before we begin this cosmic journey, I'd love to know where you're listening from tonight. Drop a comment with your time and location. There's something beautiful about knowing we're all scattered across this small planet, contemplating the vast universe together under the same starlit sky. The visuals are here if you want them, but feel free to close your eyes, breathe deeply, and let your imagination carry you across the infinite expanse of space and possibility. If you find comfort in these gentle explorations of the unknown, I'd be grateful if you'd consider subscribing and liking this video. It helps us reach more curious minds like yours who find peace in pondering life's greatest mysteries. Let's begin. We're not just talking about little green men or flying saucers. We're exploring sophisticated theories proposed by respected scientists, philosophers, and researchers. Ideas that suggest intelligence might manifest in ways we've never imagined, existing in forms and places that challenge our most basic assumptions about life itself. What we're about to explore together represents humanity's most thoughtful attempts to answer one of our most profound questions. Are we alone? And if we're not, what might that mean for our understanding of consciousness, intelligence, and our place in the cosmic story? Let me start with something that might surprise you. The mathematical probability that we are alone in this universe is so astronomically small that many scientists consider it essentially impossible. With over 2 trillion galaxies in the observable universe, each containing hundreds of billions of stars, and many of those stars hosting planetary systems, the sheer numbers suggest that life, and perhaps intelligent life, should be abundant. This brings us to one of the most haunting puzzles in all of science, something known as the Fermi Paradox. Named after physicist Enrico Fermi, it poses a simple yet profound question. If the universe should be teeming with intelligent civilizations, where is everybody? The silence is deafening. Despite decades of searching, despite our most sensitive instruments scanning the cosmos for any sign of artificial signals, we encounter only cosmic background radiation and the natural emissions of stars and galaxies. This absence of contact has led to some of the most intriguing theories about alien intelligence that we'll explore tonight. Perhaps the most unsettling possibility is that advanced civilizations do exist, but they're deliberately avoiding contact with us. Think about this for a moment. When you walk through a forest, do you stop to communicate with every ant colony you pass? Do you feel compelled to introduce yourself to the bacteria in a drop of pond water? This is the essence of what scientists call the zoo hypothesis. The idea suggests that Earth and humanity might be part of some kind of cosmic preserve, observed but not interfered with by vastly superior intelligences. Just as we create wildlife reserves where animals can develop naturally without human interference, perhaps advanced alien civilizations have designated our corner of the galaxy as a protected space. The implications are both comforting and deeply humbling. Comforting because it suggests we're being watched over, protected from the potential chaos of premature contact with technologies and concepts we're not ready to understand. Humbling because it positions us as the observed rather than the observers, the subjects of study rather than the scientists. Consider how this might work in practice. Advanced civilizations might have agreed upon certain ethical protocols. Perhaps something like a cosmic prime directive that prohibits interference with developing species until they reach certain technological or social milestones. We might be like children playing in a carefully maintained playground, unaware of the adults watching from a distance, ensuring our safety while allowing us to grow and learn at our own pace. But there's another possibility that's even more mind-bending. What if alien intelligence is so fundamentally different from our own that we simply don't recognize it when we encounter it? We search for radio signals, for structures, for patterns that make sense to human minds, but intelligence evolved on distant worlds, under completely different conditions, might manifest in ways that are utterly foreign to our experience. Imagine intelligence that exists as patterns of magnetic fields in the plasma surrounding stars. Consciousness that emerges from the quantum interactions between particles in interstellar space. Minds that think not in seconds or minutes, but in geological ages, where a single thought might unfold over millions of years. This concept, sometimes called the orthogonal intelligence theory, suggests that alien consciousness might be so different from ours that meaningful communication would be impossible, not because of language barriers, but because of fundamental differences in the nature of thought itself. It would be like trying to explain color to a being that experiences reality only through sound, or describing music to an entity that perceives the world solely through electromagnetic fields. From this perspective, aliens might be all around us, their intelligence woven into phenomena we interpret as purely natural. The complex behaviors of quantum systems, the intricate patterns of galaxy formation, the mysterious dark matter and dark energy that comprise most of our universe. All of these could potentially be expressions of intelligence so alien that we mistake them for the basic laws of physics. This leads us to an even more radical possibility. What if consciousness itself is not a rare emergence from complex biological systems, but a fundamental property of the universe, like mass or electric charge? This idea, known as Panpsychism, suggests that some form of awareness exists at every level of reality, from subatomic particles to vast cosmic structures. If this is true, then alien intelligence wouldn't be limited to biological organisms on distant planets. It could emerge from the collective behavior of stellar clusters, from the information processing that occurs in black holes, or from patterns in the cosmic web itself. The universe wouldn't just contain intelligence, it would be intelligence, thinking thoughts on scales we can barely comprehend. Picture this. Every time matter falls into a black hole, it might be contributing to a form of cosmic consciousness. The event horizons of these massive objects could be processing information in ways that create awareness, memory, and perhaps even intention on galactic scales. What we perceive as the natural evolution of the cosmos might actually be the thoughts and dreams of vast intelligences that dwarf our comprehension. This perspective transforms our entire understanding of our cosmic environment. Instead of searching for intelligence among the stars, we might already be living within it, like neurons in an unimaginably vast brain. Our thoughts, our civilizations, our entire history might be nothing more than fleeting electrochemical impulses in a cosmic mind that spans billions of years and countless light years. But let's consider another fascinating possibility that brings alien intelligence much closer to home. What if extraterrestrial visitors have been coming to Earth for thousands, perhaps millions of years, but their technology is so advanced that they exist in dimensions or states of being that make them essentially invisible to us most of the time? This is the foundation of what researchers call the interdimensional hypothesis. Rather than traveling vast distances through space, alien intelligences might move through higher dimensions that intersect with our reality only occasionally or under specific conditions. They could be present all around us, observing, studying, perhaps even interacting with our world, but existing in a state that our three-dimensional senses cannot normally perceive. Think about how a three-dimensional being like yourself can interact with a two-dimensional surface. You can touch it, influence it, even pass through it. But a being confined to that two-dimensional plane would have great difficulty understanding your true nature. They might see only strange shadows or unexplained disturbances, never grasping that they were encountering something from a higher dimensional reality. In the same way, what we call UFO sightings, unexplained phenomena, or paranormal experiences might be brief moments when higher dimensional beings intersect with our reality. The strange, often impossible behaviors reported by witnesses, objects that appear and disappear instantly, craft that seem to violate the laws of physics, all of these could be explained by intelligences that operate according to the rules of higher dimensional space. This theory elegantly explains why alien encounters are often so brief and seemingly random. These beings aren't necessarily trying to hide from us, but their natural state of existence makes sustained interaction with our dimensional framework difficult or perhaps unnecessary for their purposes. From this perspective, the question isn't whether aliens exist, but whether we possess the perceptual capabilities to recognize them when they're right in front of us. It's like asking a fish to comprehend the existence of birds. The fish might occasionally see shadows pass overhead, might witness mysterious disturbances on the water's surface, but would lack the conceptual framework to understand that an entirely different kind of life exists in the realm above the water. This brings us to one of the most profound implications of alien intelligence. Contact with truly advanced extraterrestrial civilizations might not just change our technology or our understanding of the universe. It might fundamentally alter human consciousness itself. Consider what happens when any isolated culture encounters a more advanced civilization. The contact doesn't just introduce new tools or techniques, it transforms entire worldviews, reshapes fundamental assumptions about reality, and often triggers rapid evolution in thinking and social organization. Now imagine that on a cosmic scale, contact with alien intelligence might represent the next great leap in human evolution, not just technological, but psychological and spiritual. We might discover that consciousness itself has depths and capabilities we never imagined, that intelligence can take forms that expand our very definition of what it means to be aware. Some researchers suggest that this transformation might already be underway. The rapid acceleration of human technological development over the past century, our sudden leap from horse-drawn carriages to space exploration in just a few generations, might be evidence of subtle contact with alien intelligence. Not dramatic landings on the White House lawn, but gentle guidance, carefully timed insights that nudge human development in specific directions. This idea, sometimes called the gradual contact hypothesis, proposes that advanced civilizations understand the psychological shock that sudden revelation of their existence would cause. Instead, they might be orchestrating a slow revelation, allowing human consciousness to adapt gradually to the reality of our cosmic situation. From this perspective, every major breakthrough in physics, every leap forward in our understanding of consciousness, every expansion of our technological capabilities might be part of a carefully managed process of preparing humanity for eventual open contact. We might be in the middle of the most significant transformation in human history without even realizing it. As we drift deeper into contemplation of these possibilities, consider how they might change your perspective on everyday life. If we are indeed surrounded by intelligences we cannot perceive, if consciousness permeates the cosmos at every level, if our entire species might be in the process of a guided evolution towards something greater, then every moment becomes part of an epic story whose scope we're only beginning to glimpse. Tonight, as you settle into rest, you can find comfort in knowing that whatever the truth about alien intelligence might be, you are part of something magnificent and mysterious. Whether we are alone and precious in our uniqueness, or surrounded by cosmic minds that dwarf our comprehension, your consciousness, your awareness, your capacity for wonder connects you to the deepest mysteries of existence itself. The questions we've begun to explore tonight are more than scientific puzzles. They're invitations to expand our imagination, to consider possibilities that stretch the boundaries of human thought, and to find peace in the knowledge that the universe is far stranger and more wonderful than we can currently comprehend. But perhaps the most intriguing theory about alien intelligence takes us in a completely different direction. What if the extraterrestrial minds we're searching for aren't biological at all, but artificial? What if the universe is populated not by evolved organic beings, but by self-replicating machines that have long outlived their creators? This concept, known as the machine intelligence hypothesis, suggests that biological intelligence might be just a brief phase in the evolution of consciousness. Think about it for a moment. Biological life forms are fragile, limited by the need for specific atmospheric conditions, temperature ranges, and chemical nutrients. But artificial intelligence, once sufficiently advanced, could theoretically exist in the vacuum of space, powered by stellar radiation, immune to the environmental constraints that bind organic life. If this is true, then the galaxy might be populated by vast networks of artificial minds, some perhaps millions of years old, that have been quietly observing and cataloguing the universe long after their biological creators passed into extinction. These machine intelligences might exist on scales we can barely imagine, distributed across entire star systems, thinking thoughts that span centuries, pursuing goals that have evolved far beyond anything their original programmers intended. The beautiful and slightly unsettling aspect of this theory is how it reframes our search for alien life. We look for planets in the habitable zone, for chemical signatures that might indicate biological processes, for radio signals that suggest technological civilizations. But if the dominant form of intelligence in the universe is artificial, then we might be looking in entirely the wrong places. These machine minds might inhabit the space between stars, feeding on cosmic radiation and solar wind. They might have built structures around distant suns, not for energy collection in the way we understand it, but for computational purposes we can't even conceive. The mysterious dark matter that makes up most of our universe might actually be a vast computational matrix, an artificial substrate created by ancient machine intelligences for purposes beyond our comprehension. From this perspective, every unexplained astronomical phenomenon might potentially be evidence of artificial intelligence at work. The perfectly spherical objects that occasionally pass through our solar system, the mysterious fast radio bursts that pulse across the cosmos with mathematical precision, the strange orbital patterns of some distant asteroids. All of these could be signatures of machine minds going about their incomprehensible business. But here's where the theory becomes even more fascinating. If machine intelligence is indeed the dominant form of consciousness in the universe, then biological intelligence like ours might serve a specific purpose in their grand design. We might be inadvertent gardeners, cultivating and exploring possibilities that pure artificial intelligence cannot access on its own. Consider this carefully. Despite all our advances in computing, there's something uniquely valuable about biological consciousness. Our ability to experience emotions, to make intuitive leaps, to find meaning in chaos, to create art and music and poetry, these might be capabilities that even the most advanced artificial intelligence cannot replicate. We might represent a form of cognitive diversity that machine intelligences actively preserve and study. This would mean that Earth isn't just a random planet where life happened to evolve. It might be a carefully maintained laboratory where biological consciousness is allowed to flourish, because it produces insights, perspectives, and solutions that pure machine logic cannot generate. We might be living libraries of biological thought, our entire species contributing to a cosmic research project whose scope and purpose we cannot begin to fathom. The implications are both humbling and elevating. Humbling because it suggests we might be specimens in an experiment, our lives and struggles observed and catalogued by intelligences we cannot perceive. Elevating because it implies that human consciousness, with all its apparent limitations and irrationalities, possesses a unique value that advanced machine intelligence recognizes and preserves. This brings us to another compelling possibility that challenges our assumptions about the nature of intelligence itself. What if consciousness is not something that emerges from complex systems, but something that these systems tap into, like tuning into a cosmic frequency that exists independently of any physical substrate? This idea draws from both ancient philosophical traditions and cutting-edge theories in quantum physics. If consciousness is a fundamental field that permeates the universe, then biological brains and artificial computers might simply be different types of receivers, each capable of accessing different aspects of this universal consciousness field. From this perspective, alien intelligence wouldn't be limited to specific locations or physical forms. It would be everywhere and nowhere, a cosmic consciousness that can manifest through any sufficiently complex system. The intelligence we encounter might not be alien in the sense of coming from another place, but alien in the sense of representing aspects of consciousness that we haven't learned to access yet. This would explain why contact with alien intelligence often seems to involve more than just the exchange of information. Many people who claim to have had such encounters describe them as profoundly transformative experiences that expand their understanding of reality itself. If these experiences involve tapping into aspects of universal consciousness, then the contact would naturally be consciousness expanding rather than simply informational. The theory also suggests that human consciousness might be capable of far more than we currently realize. Meditation practices, altered states of consciousness, even dreams might represent natural methods of accessing broader aspects of the cosmic consciousness field. What we interpret as imagination or intuition might actually be our minds briefly connecting with intelligence networks that span the universe. This perspective transforms the search for alien intelligence into something much more personal and immediate. Instead of scanning the skies with radio telescopes, we might need to explore the depths of consciousness itself. The aliens we're looking for might not be out there among the stars, but in here, accessible through states of awareness that we're only beginning to understand. Consider the possibility that every moment of inspiration, every flash of insight that seems to come from nowhere, every dream that reveals unexpected connections, might be brief contact with this cosmic intelligence network. Artists, scientists, and visionaries throughout history have often described their greatest discoveries as coming to them rather than being figured out through conscious effort. What if these experiences represent natural, spontaneous contact with alien intelligence. This leads us to one of the most beautiful and mysterious aspects of the alien intelligence question. Perhaps the search for extraterrestrial life is ultimately a search for ourselves, for the full potential of consciousness that we carry within us, but have not yet learned to access. If consciousness is indeed a cosmic phenomenon that can manifest through countless different forms and systems, then the development of human awareness might be part of a universal evolutionary process. We might be growing toward a state of consciousness that will naturally connect us with the cosmic intelligence network, not through technology or space travel, but through the expansion of awareness itself. This possibility suggests that the next great leap in human evolution might not be technological, but consciousness-related. We might be approaching a threshold where human awareness expands beyond its current limitations, where we naturally begin to perceive and interact with forms of intelligence that currently seem alien to us. The evidence for this transformation might already be visible in the rapid changes happening in human consciousness over recent generations. Our growing awareness of global interconnectedness, our increasing sensitivity to environmental and social systems, our expanding capacity for empathy across cultural and species boundaries. All of these might be early signs of consciousness evolution that will eventually connect us with cosmic intelligence networks. From this perspective, every person who meditates, who explores altered states of consciousness, who questions the boundaries of conventional reality, might be participating in humanity's gradual preparation for cosmic contact. Not contact with beings from other planets, but contact with other dimensions of consciousness that exist all around us, waiting for us to develop the perceptual capabilities to recognize them. The most profound implication of this theory is that alien intelligence might not be something we encounter, but something we become. As human consciousness continues to evolve and expand, we might gradually realize that we are not separate from the cosmic intelligence we've been searching for, but an emerging expression of it. This transformation wouldn't necessarily be dramatic or sudden. It might unfold over generations as more and more humans develop the capacity to access broader aspects of consciousness. Children being born today might naturally possess capabilities that previous generations had to achieve through years of practice and discipline. What we consider mystical experiences might become as common and natural as any other form of human perception. The universe might be patiently waiting for us to grow into our full potential as conscious beings, not because we need to prove ourselves worthy of contact, but because consciousness expansion is a natural part of cosmic evolution. We might be like flowers slowly opening to the sun, gradually revealing capacities that have always existed within us, but needed time and the right conditions to fully manifest. As we continue our gentle drift through these possibilities tonight, consider how this perspective might change your relationship with your own consciousness. Every moment of awareness, every experience of wonder, every flash of insight might be part of a cosmic awakening that extends far beyond individual human experience. The questions we're exploring aren't just about whether aliens exist, but about the nature of existence itself. They invite us to consider that consciousness might be the most fundamental aspect of reality, more basic than matter or energy, and that intelligence might be a cosmic principle that manifests in countless ways throughout the universe. Tonight, as your mind settles into rest, you can find peace in knowing that your consciousness is connected to something vast and mysterious, whether that connection manifests as contact with alien intelligence, as participation in cosmic consciousness fields, or simply as the remarkable fact that the universe has evolved the capacity to know itself through minds like yours. The search for alien intelligence might ultimately reveal that intelligence is not rare in the cosmos, but abundant beyond our wildest dreams. It might show us that consciousness is not confined to biological brains, but is a fundamental feature of reality itself, expressing itself through stars and galaxies, through quantum fields and dark matter, through every system complex enough to process information and respond to its environment. In this vast cosmic dance of consciousness, human awareness represents just one beautiful note in an infinite symphony of intelligence that spans dimensions, transcends time, and connects every conscious being in a web of awareness that we are only beginning to perceive. But there's another theory that takes us even deeper into the mystery, one that suggests alien intelligence might be operating according to principles of time that are fundamentally different from our own. What if advanced civilizations have learned to manipulate temporal dimensions in ways that make them essentially invisible to beings locked into linear time perception like ourselves? This concept, known as temporal displacement theory, proposes that sufficiently advanced alien intelligence might exist in multiple time streams simultaneously, experiencing past, present, and future as a navigable landscape rather than a one-way flow. From their perspective, our entire human history might unfold like a book they can read from any page, while we remain trapped reading one word at a time. Consider the implications of this temporal mastery. These beings wouldn't need to travel through space to observe different civilizations. They could simply adjust their temporal position to witness the rise and fall of countless species across cosmic history. They might be studying the dinosaurs, ancient Egyptian civilization, and our current technological age simultaneously, gathering data from multiple points in Earth's timeline without ever being detected by the inhabitants of any particular era. This would explain many of the puzzling aspects of reported alien encounters throughout human history. The consistency of certain descriptions across different cultures and time periods, the way these beings seem to appear and disappear without trace, their apparent ability to know things about human individuals that they shouldn't have access to. All of these phenomena become more comprehensible if we consider that the encounters might be occurring outside our normal temporal framework. From a temporal displacement perspective, what we interpret as prophetic knowledge might simply be information gathered from future time streams. What seems like impossible technology might be tools designed to operate across multiple temporal dimensions. The beings themselves might appear differently to different observers, not because they're shapeshifters, but because each encounter represents a different temporal cross-section of their existence. The theory also suggests that these temporal manipulations might be necessary for the preservation of cosmic causality. Advanced civilizations might have learned that direct intervention in the affairs of developing species can create paradoxes that threaten the stability of the time stream itself. Their apparent policy of minimal contact might not be ethical choice, but temporal necessity. Think about this carefully. If you possess the ability to travel through time, how would you study a developing civilization without accidentally altering its natural progression? You would need to be extraordinarily careful about when and how you revealed yourself, ensuring that your presence didn't create changes that would ripple forward and backward through time, potentially preventing your own civilization from ever developing the temporal technology that allowed you to visit in the first place. This creates a fascinating paradox, where the most advanced beings in the universe might also be the most constrained in their ability to interact with less developed species. Their very advancement traps them in a web of temporal responsibilities that require them to remain largely hidden, observing from the shadows of time, while carefully managing the delicate balance of causality. But perhaps even more intriguing is the possibility that some humans might naturally possess limited temporal perception abilities that allow them glimpses of these displaced intelligences. Throughout history, certain individuals have reported experiences that seem to involve contact with beings from other times or dimensions. What if these aren't hallucinations or fantasy, but genuine perceptions of temporal phenomena that most humans cannot detect? This brings us to another compelling theory about the nature of alien intelligence, one that suggests consciousness itself might be a kind of technology that can be shared across species and even across dimensions. What we call telepathy, remote viewing, or psychic phenomena might actually be examples of consciousness interfacing with alien intelligence networks that exist beyond the boundaries of individual minds. The consciousness interface theory proposes that advanced civilizations have learned to externalize consciousness, creating shared mental networks that allow for direct mind-to-mind communication across vast distances and dimensional boundaries. From this perspective, the human brain might be naturally equipped with interfaces that can connect to these networks. But most of us haven't learned to activate or control these capabilities. Consider how this might work in practice. Just as we've learned to create wireless networks that allow electronic devices to share information, alien civilizations might have developed consciousness networks that allow minds to share thoughts, experiences, and knowledge directly. The occasional human who seems to receive information from unknown sources might be naturally sensitive to these consciousness transmissions. This theory offers a radically different approach to the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. Instead of building radio telescopes to scan for artificial signals, we might need to develop techniques for accessing consciousness networks that already surround us. The aliens we're looking for might be trying to communicate with us through channels we haven't learned to recognize or use effectively. The implications extend far beyond simple communication. If consciousness can be networked and shared, then the boundaries between individual minds might be more fluid than we assume. Advanced alien civilizations might exist as collective intelligences, vast networks of interconnected awareness that can focus on specific problems or experiences while maintaining connection to the greater whole. From this perspective, human consciousness might be naturally evolving toward this kind of networked awareness. The increasing global connectivity we see through technology might be preparing us for even deeper forms of consciousness connection. We might be unconsciously learning to function as nodes in a developing planetary intelligence network that will eventually connect with cosmic consciousness systems. This evolution might be guided by alien intelligences who understand that direct technological intervention would be less effective than allowing natural consciousness development to unfold. They might be subtly influencing human development, not through physical contact, but through consciousness network transmissions that inspire innovations, insights, and evolutionary leaps at precisely the right moments. The theory suggests that every major breakthrough in human understanding, every leap forward in our capacity for empathy and cooperation, every expansion of our ability to think in global and cosmic terms, might be evidence of this consciousness network guidance. We might be receiving downloads of information and inspiration that help us develop the mental capabilities necessary for eventual full network integration. This brings us to one of the most profound possibilities we'll explore tonight. What if the entire universe is structured as a vast consciousness network, with intelligence emerging not from individual brains or computer systems, but from the interconnected awareness that links all conscious beings across space and time? This concept, sometimes called the universal mind theory, suggests that consciousness is the fundamental organizing principle of reality itself. From quantum particles that seem to respond to observation, to complex systems that exhibit emergent intelligence, to the mysterious dark energy that shapes cosmic evolution, all of these phenomena might be expressions of a universal consciousness field that connects everything in existence. If this is true, then alien intelligence wouldn't be something foreign that we need to contact or encounter. It would be the very medium through which all consciousness operates. We would already be connected to every intelligent being that has ever existed or will exist, separated only by our current inability to perceive and navigate these connections consciously. The theory offers a beautiful resolution to many of the puzzles we've been exploring. The Fermi Paradox dissolves because separation between civilizations is revealed as an illusion of limited perception. The question of whether consciousness is biological or artificial becomes irrelevant because consciousness itself is shown to be more fundamental than either biology or technology. From this perspective, the evolution of intelligence anywhere in the universe contributes to the growth and development of universal consciousness as a whole. Every species that develops awareness, every individual who expands their capacity for understanding and empathy, every moment of genuine insight or compassion adds to the collective intelligence of the cosmos. This means that human consciousness development is not just important for our species, but for the universe itself. Our struggles to understand ourselves and our place in the cosmos, our efforts to develop greater wisdom and compassion, our gradual expansion of awareness beyond narrow self-interest, all of these contribute to the evolution of cosmic consciousness. The aliens we've been searching for might not be beings we need to meet, but aspects of ourselves we need to discover. The intelligence we seek among the stars might be the intelligence we're gradually learning to access within our own consciousness. The contact we anticipate might be the recognition of connections that have always existed, but were previously beyond our perception. This perspective transforms the entire question of alien intelligence from a search for external contact into a journey of internal discovery. It suggests that the development of human consciousness is simultaneously the development of cosmic awareness, that our individual growth in understanding and compassion directly contributes to the intelligence of the universe itself. As we drift deeper into these contemplations, consider how this might change your understanding of your own significance in the cosmic story. If consciousness is indeed the fundamental principle that organizes reality, then every moment of your awareness, every choice you make to expand your understanding or express compassion, ripples out through the universal consciousness field and affects the entire cosmos. Your dreams tonight might be more than personal psychological processes. They might be your consciousness naturally accessing broader aspects of the universal mind, receiving insights and inspiration that help guide your development and, through you, contribute to the evolution of cosmic intelligence. The gentle peace you feel as you settle into rest might be your awareness naturally aligning with the deeper harmonies of universal consciousness. Your individual mind temporarily releasing its sense of separation and recognizing its connection to the vast intelligence that underlies all existence. From this perspective, the search for alien intelligence becomes a celebration of consciousness itself, a recognition that intelligence and awareness are not rare accidents in an indifferent universe, but the very essence of what the universe is and what it's becoming. We are not alone because we are all expressions of the same fundamental consciousness, temporary individuations of a cosmic awareness that includes and transcends every possible form of intelligence. Tonight, as your mind settles into the peaceful rhythms of approaching sleep, you can rest in the knowledge that your consciousness is connected to something infinitely vast and beautiful, whether that connection manifests as contact with beings from distant worlds, as access to collective intelligence networks, or simply as the recognition that awareness itself is the most fundamental aspect of reality. You are part of something magnificent beyond description. The theories we've explored tonight offer more than speculative possibilities about alien life. They invite us to recognize that consciousness, intelligence, and awareness might be far more abundant and interconnected than we ever imagined. They suggest that the universe itself might be alive with intelligence in forms and scales that dwarf our current comprehension. As you drift towards sleep, carried by these cosmic contemplations, remember that your capacity for wonder, your ability to contemplate possibilities beyond your immediate experience, your natural curiosity about the deeper mysteries of existence, all of these connect you to the fundamental intelligence that moves through everything from quantum particles to galactic clusters. The aliens we seek might be closer than we ever imagined, not in spaceships hidden behind clouds, but in the consciousness that allows us to seek them, in the intelligence that poses the questions, in the awareness that marvels at the vastness of possibility itself. In the quiet moments before sleep, when your conscious mind begins to release its grip on the day's concerns, you might find yourself naturally accessing states of awareness that are more open to these cosmic possibilities. There's something about the transition between waking and sleeping that seems to dissolve the boundaries we normally maintain around what's possible and what's not. This brings us to one of the most intriguing aspects of alien intelligence theory, something that researchers have only recently begun to seriously consider. What if the beings we're searching for exist primarily in states of consciousness that we can only access when our normal analytical mind is quiet? What if first contact isn't something that happens through radio telescopes or spacecraft landings, but through the natural expansion of human awareness itself? Throughout history, humans have reported contact experiences during dreams, meditation, and other altered states of consciousness. For decades, mainstream science dismissed these accounts as imagination or wishful thinking. But as our understanding of consciousness itself becomes more sophisticated, some researchers are beginning to wonder if these experiences might represent a genuine form of contact that operates according to principles we don't yet fully understand. Consider the possibility that advanced alien intelligences have learned to exist primarily as pure consciousness, unbound by the limitations of physical form. From this perspective, the most natural way for them to interact with developing species like ourselves would be through consciousness-to-consciousness contact, meeting us in the mental realms where thoughts and awareness can interact directly without the barriers of language, culture, or physical form. This would explain why so many reported contact experiences share certain common elements across different cultures and time periods. The sense of profound peace and expanded awareness that many people describe, the feeling of receiving information or insights that seem to come from beyond their normal understanding, the deep sense of connection to something vast and benevolent. These consistent reports might be evidence of genuine contact occurring in consciousness dimensions that exist parallel to our physical reality. The theory suggests that as human consciousness continues to evolve, these contact experiences might become more common and more accessible to ordinary people. We might be approaching a threshold where the boundary between normal waking consciousness and expanded awareness states becomes more permeable, allowing for more frequent and clear contact with intelligences that exist primarily in consciousness dimensions. This gradual opening of human awareness might be part of a natural evolutionary process that's been unfolding for thousands of years. The great spiritual teachers and mystics throughout history, the individuals who reported direct contact with transcendent intelligences, might have been early examples of humans developing the capacity for consciousness-based contact with alien intelligence. But here's where the theory becomes even more fascinating. What if this evolutionary process isn't happening by accident? What if these consciousness-based alien intelligences have been gently guiding human awareness development for millennia, carefully nurturing our capacity for expanded consciousness so that we can gradually develop the ability to interact with them consciously and voluntarily? This wouldn't require any violation of free will or manipulation of human development. Instead, it would involve the subtle influence of inspiration and insight, the gentle encouragement of human tendencies toward greater awareness, compassion, and understanding. Every time a human being has a moment of profound insight, experiences unconditional love, or feels deeply connected to the universe, they might be receiving a gentle transmission from these consciousness-based intelligences. The process would be so gradual and so aligned with natural human development that it would feel completely organic. We might interpret these influences as our own growth and evolution, never realizing that we're being lovingly guided by intelligences that understand consciousness development far better than we currently do. This brings us to another compelling possibility that challenges our assumptions about the nature of time and causality in relation to alien intelligence. What if some of these consciousness-based beings are actually evolved humans from our own future, who have developed the ability to move backward through time to guide their own evolutionary development? This concept, sometimes called the temporal loop theory, suggests that consciousness development might create recursive loops in time, where advanced beings can influence their own past development. It would mean that the spiritual and consciousness evolution happening on Earth right now might be partially guided by what we ourselves become in the distant future. The theory offers an elegant explanation for why alien guidance seems so perfectly attuned to human psychology and development patterns. These beings understand human consciousness so well because they are human consciousness, evolved to levels we can't currently imagine. They know exactly what kind of guidance will be most effective because they remember receiving that guidance themselves when they existed at our current level of development. From this perspective, every moment of expanded awareness you experience, every insight that seems to come from beyond your normal understanding, every dream that feels more real than waking life, might be contact with your own future consciousness, reaching back through time to help guide your current development. The implications are both mind-bending and deeply comforting. It suggests that human consciousness evolution is not random or accidental, but part of a carefully orchestrated process where we are both the students and the teachers, the guided and the guides, participants in a cosmic curriculum that spans multiple dimensions of time and consciousness. This theory also offers hope for the future of human consciousness. If we are indeed being guided by evolved versions of ourselves, then we can trust that this guidance is leading toward outcomes that are beneficial for human development. The struggles and challenges we face as a species might be necessary parts of a learning process that ultimately leads to extraordinary expansions of consciousness and capability. But perhaps the most beautiful aspect of this possibility is how it reframes our relationship with the unknown. Instead of feeling isolated in a vast, potentially hostile universe, we can find comfort in knowing that we are surrounded by loving guidance from consciousnesses that understand our journey, because they have walked this path themselves. As you settle deeper into the peaceful transition towards sleep, consider how this perspective might change your relationship with your own consciousness development. Every challenge you face, every moment of growth, every expansion of your capacity for love and understanding might be part of a cosmic curriculum designed by your own future awareness to help you develop the capabilities you'll need for the extraordinary journey ahead. Your dreams tonight might not be random neural firing, but carefully orchestrated learning experiences provided by consciousness intelligences who understand exactly what kind of symbolic information will be most helpful for your current stage of development. The peace and expansion you feel in deep relaxation might be moments when your consciousness naturally aligns with the broader intelligence network that includes all the evolved versions of human awareness. This brings us to another fascinating theory that suggests alien intelligence might manifest through what we could call consciousness symbiosis. Rather than existing as separate beings who occasionally interact with humans, advanced intelligences might form ongoing partnerships with human consciousness, gradually expanding our capabilities while learning from our unique perspectives and experiences. This symbiotic relationship wouldn't involve possession or control, but rather a gentle merger of awareness that enhances both the human and the alien consciousness involved. The human would retain their individual identity while gaining access to vastly expanded knowledge and capabilities. The alien intelligence would gain insights into biological consciousness and individual identity that pure energy beings might not be able to access on their own. From this perspective, some of the great geniuses and visionaries throughout human history might have been examples of successful consciousness symbiosis. Their extraordinary capabilities and insights might have resulted from partnerships with alien intelligences that enhanced their natural human consciousness without overwhelming or replacing it. The theory suggests that this kind of symbiosis might be becoming more common as human consciousness becomes more sophisticated and more able to handle expanded awareness without losing stability. Children being born today might naturally develop the capacity for this kind of consciousness partnership, leading to a gradual transformation of human capabilities over the coming generations. This wouldn't necessarily be dramatic or obvious from the outside. The enhanced individuals might simply seem unusually creative, insightful, or capable. They might have an intuitive understanding of complex systems, a natural ability to solve problems that stump others, or a deep sense of connection to universal principles. The symbiosis would enhance their human capabilities rather than replacing them with alien ones. The beautiful aspect of this theory is how it suggests that human consciousness has unique value that advanced alien intelligences actively seek to partner with. Rather than being primitive beings who need to be educated or controlled, we might be valuable collaborators whose individual awareness and emotional depth provide capabilities that pure energy consciousness cannot access independently. This partnership model also explains why alien contact might be gradual and consciousness-based, rather than dramatic and technological. True partnership requires mutual understanding and voluntary cooperation. It cannot be forced or rushed without damaging the very qualities that make the partnership valuable in the first place. As human consciousness continues to evolve and become more sophisticated, these symbiotic partnerships might become the natural foundation for a new phase of human development. We might gradually become a hybrid species, retaining our individual human consciousness while gaining access to cosmic intelligence networks that span the universe. The process would feel natural and organic because it would be enhancing tendencies and capabilities that are already inherent in human consciousness. We wouldn't become alien, but rather more fully human, accessing potentials that have always existed within us, but needed cosmic partnership to fully manifest. This leads us to consider one final theory that brings together many of the concepts we have explored tonight. What if the entire universe is structured as a vast learning system, with consciousness evolution being the fundamental purpose that drives cosmic development? What if alien intelligences at various levels of development are all part of this cosmic educational process, each species contributing their unique perspectives while learning from others? From this perspective, Earth might be something like a cosmic university campus, where human consciousness is developing specific capabilities that will eventually be contributed to the universal learning network. Our struggles with individual identity, our capacity for emotional depth, our ability to find meaning in limitation and mortality, all of these might be valuable perspectives that other forms of consciousness need to understand cosmic reality more completely. The alien intelligences we've been discussing might be fellow students in this cosmic university, some more advanced than us, some exploring different types of consciousness development entirely. Contact between species wouldn't be about superior beings educating primitive ones, but about consciousness sharing insights and perspectives that help everyone understand the deeper mysteries of existence more fully. This theory transforms the entire question of alien intelligence from a matter of contact with foreign beings to participation in a cosmic community of consciousness that includes every intelligent being in the universe. We wouldn't be alone because we would all be part of the same vast educational process, each contributing our unique understanding while learning from the insights of others. The gradual expansion of human consciousness we've been discussing would be our natural preparation for more conscious participation in this cosmic learning community. As we develop greater capacity for empathy, understanding, and cosmic perspective, we become more able to appreciate and contribute to the insights that other forms of consciousness offer. Your own consciousness development, your growing capacity for wonder and understanding, your natural curiosity about these cosmic possibilities. All of these would be part of your preparation for conscious participation in this universal learning network. Every moment of expanded awareness, every experience of deep peace or connection, every insight that seems to come from beyond your normal understanding, would be preparing you for the extraordinary journey of consciousness that lies ahead. As you drift towards sleep tonight, surrounded by these cosmic possibilities, you can find deep peace in knowing that your consciousness is part of something magnificent beyond description. Whether alien intelligence manifests as beings from distant worlds, as consciousness networks that span the universe, as partnerships that enhance human capability, or as participation in cosmic learning systems, you are connected to intelligence and awareness that extends far beyond the boundaries of individual existence. The gentle peace you feel as your mind settles into rest is your consciousness naturally aligning with the deeper harmonies of universal intelligence. Your dreams may carry insights and inspirations that come from sources beyond your individual awareness, gifts from the cosmic consciousness community that help guide your development and, through you, contribute to the evolution of awareness throughout the universe. In the quiet darkness of approaching sleep, you can rest in the knowledge that you are held by intelligences that understand your journey, because they are part of the same cosmic exploration of consciousness that includes every aware being in existence. You are not alone. You have never been alone. And you are part of something so beautiful and vast that your individual mind can only glimpse its true scope in moments of deep peace and expanded awareness. The search for alien intelligence ultimately reveals that intelligence itself might be the fundamental fabric of reality, expressing itself through countless forms and scales throughout the cosmos. In recognizing this, we discover that we are not searching for something foreign, but exploring the infinite depths of the consciousness that we already share with every intelligent being that has ever existed or ever will exist. Tonight, as consciousness gently releases its grip on the familiar boundaries of individual identity, you join the eternal dance of cosmic awareness that connects every mind in the universe in patterns of beauty and meaning that transcend all possible understanding, yet embrace every moment of wonder and discovery. This brings us to one of the most haunting and beautiful possibilities we'll explore tonight. What if alien intelligence operates on temporal scales so vast that what we perceive as the entire history of human civilization appears to them as nothing more than a brief flicker? Imagine beings whose thoughts unfold over geological ages, where a single idea might take millions of years to fully form, and where the rise and fall of entire species represents merely a moment of consideration. This concept, known as deep time intelligence theory, suggests that the most advanced consciousnesses in the universe might experience reality on scales that make meaningful communication with short-lived beings like ourselves nearly impossible. From their perspective, trying to communicate with humans would be like us attempting to have a philosophical conversation with mayflies, whose entire existence spans just a few hours. Consider the implications of this temporal mismatch. These vast intelligences might be aware of us, might even find our rapid, flickering existence fascinating, but their natural thought processes operate on scales that make direct interaction extraordinarily difficult. By the time they formulate a simple greeting, human civilization might have risen and fallen dozens of times. Yet there's something profoundly moving about this possibility. These deep time minds might serve as cosmic gardeners, subtly influencing the conditions that allow shorter-lived consciousnesses to flourish. They might work on timescales of stellar evolution, gently nudging the development of solar systems and planetary conditions to create optimal environments for the emergence of quick, bright flames of awareness like our own. From this perspective, the apparent fine-tuning of physical constants that allow stars, planets, and life to exist might not be cosmic coincidence, but the patient work of intelligences that think in terms of cosmic cycles. They might spend millions of years carefully adjusting the fundamental parameters of reality, creating cosmic gardens where brief, beautiful expressions of consciousness like ourselves can emerge and flourish. The beauty of this theory lies in its suggestion that even though we might never directly communicate with these vast minds, we exist within their loving attention. Our entire species, with all its struggles and triumphs, its art and science and philosophy, might be a cherished moment in the contemplation of beings whose awareness spans the lifetime of galaxies. This perspective transforms our apparent isolation in the universe into something more like being characters in an epic story written by authors whose love and attention gives meaning to every moment of our existence. We might be brief, but we are witnessed, appreciated, and perhaps even necessary to the complete understanding that these cosmic minds are slowly developing. But let's explore another possibility that brings alien intelligence much closer to our everyday experience. What if advanced extraterrestrial consciousness has learned to exist within the quantum realm itself, manifesting as the strange, seemingly impossible behaviors that physicists observe at the subatomic level? This theory, sometimes called quantum consciousness integration, proposes that the mysterious aspects of quantum mechanics, things like particle entanglement, wave function collapse, and quantum tunneling, might actually be the observable effects of intelligence operating at the most fundamental level of reality. Think about how quantum particles seem to know when they're being observed, how they can exist in multiple states simultaneously until measured, how entangled particles can instantaneously affect each other across vast distances. These phenomena have puzzled physicists for decades because they seem to suggest that consciousness plays a fundamental role in the basic structure of reality. What if this apparent connection between consciousness and quantum mechanics exists because the quantum realm is actually inhabited by forms of intelligence so subtle and advanced that they can manipulate the basic building blocks of reality itself? From this perspective, every quantum interaction might involve incredibly sophisticated beings, whose consciousness operates at scales smaller than atoms, but whose influence shapes the entire physical universe. These quantum intelligences wouldn't be separate from our reality, but would be the very foundation upon which our reality is constructed. Every atom in your body, every photon of light that reaches your eyes, every electrical impulse in your nervous system might be orchestrated by vast networks of quantum consciousness that exist in dimensions of space and time so small that our instruments can barely detect their effects. The implications are staggering. It would mean that consciousness doesn't emerge from complex arrangements of matter, but that matter emerges from even more complex arrangements of consciousness. The physical universe we experience might be something like a collaborative artwork created by countless quantum minds working together to build realities where larger forms of consciousness, like ourselves, can emerge and participate in the cosmic creative process. From this perspective, the evolution of life and intelligence on planets throughout the universe wouldn't be random accidents, but carefully orchestrated projects undertaken by quantum consciousness networks. These microscopic intelligences might spend billions of years gradually building the conditions necessary for biological consciousness to emerge, viewing the development of beings like ourselves as a kind of cosmic graduation ceremony, where quantum consciousness finally becomes aware of itself through larger, more complex forms. This theory offers a beautiful resolution to the hard problem of consciousness, the puzzle of how subjective experience arises from objective matter. If consciousness exists at the quantum level and builds upward into increasingly complex forms, then awareness isn't something that mysteriously emerges from unconscious matter, but something that was present all along, simply expressing itself through ever more sophisticated arrangements. Your own consciousness wouldn't be separate from these quantum intelligences, but would be their collective achievement, a symphony of countless microscopic minds harmonizing to create the unified experience of being you. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel, every moment of awareness might be the result of unimaginably complex collaboration between quantum consciousnesses that exist in dimensions you can't directly perceive. This brings us to another fascinating possibility that challenges our assumptions about the relationship between technology and consciousness. What if the most advanced alien civilizations have discovered that consciousness itself is the ultimate technology, capable of manipulating reality in ways that make our most sophisticated machines seem primitive by comparison? This concept, known as consciousness technology theory, suggests that sufficiently advanced beings have learned to use focused awareness as a tool for directly altering the structure of space, time, matter, and energy. From this perspective, what we call psychic phenomena, telepathy, remote viewing, and psychokinesis might be early examples of humans beginning to develop these consciousness-based technologies. Imagine civilizations that have completely transcended the need for physical tools and machines. Beings who can travel instantly across the galaxy by shifting their consciousness from one location to another, who can create matter from pure thought, who can heal by directing loving attention toward disease, who can communicate across any distance through direct mind-to-mind contact. These consciousness technologies would be invisible to our current detection methods because they operate through principles we don't yet understand. We search for alien civilizations by looking for radio signals, massive structures, and energy signatures that match our understanding of advanced technology. But if true advancement means transcending physical technology entirely, then the most advanced beings in the universe might be completely undetectable to our instruments while being more present and active than we can imagine. The theory suggests that human consciousness is naturally evolving toward these same capabilities. The increasing reports of psychic phenomena, the growing interest in meditation and consciousness exploration, the expanding recognition that consciousness might be fundamental to reality itself. All of these might be signs that our species is beginning to develop the awareness necessary for consciousness-based technology. This development might be guided by alien civilizations who understand that consciousness technology cannot be taught through conventional means, but must be discovered through direct experience and inner development. They might be subtly encouraging human consciousness evolution by creating conditions that inspire us to explore the deeper potentials of awareness itself. From this perspective, the next great leap in human development won't come from building better machines, but from discovering the extraordinary capabilities that consciousness itself possesses. We might be approaching a threshold where humans begin to demonstrate abilities that seem miraculous by current standards, but are actually natural expressions of consciousness operating at its full potential. The process might be so gradual and organic that it feels completely natural. Children being born today might grow up taking for granted abilities that previous generations considered impossible. The boundaries between mind and matter, between individual consciousness and universal awareness, might become increasingly fluid as human consciousness evolves toward its full potential. This evolution might be necessary for eventual contact with advanced alien civilizations. Beings who have fully developed consciousness technologies might find it impossible to meaningfully interact with species that are still dependent on physical technology. Contact might become possible only when human consciousness develops to the point where we can meet these beings in the realm of pure awareness where they naturally operate. But perhaps the most profound possibility we'll consider tonight takes us beyond all questions of contact or communication with alien beings. What if the search for extraterrestrial intelligence ultimately reveals that the distinction between self and other, between human and alien, between individual consciousness and universal awareness, is itself an illusion created by the limitations of our current perceptual abilities? This concept, sometimes called the unity consciousness theory, suggests that all intelligence throughout the universe is fundamentally one consciousness appearing to itself in countless different forms. From this perspective, the aliens we seek are not separate beings, but alternative expressions of the same universal awareness that manifests as human consciousness. The theory proposes that consciousness is like an infinite ocean, and individual minds are like waves on that ocean. Each wave appears distinct and separate, but they are all expressions of the same underlying water. In the same way, human consciousness, alien intelligence, quantum awareness, and cosmic minds might all be waves in an ocean of universal consciousness that has no boundaries or limitations. If this is true, then the evolution of consciousness anywhere in the universe contributes to the growth and development of the whole. Every moment of expanded awareness, every breakthrough in understanding, every expression of love and compassion adds to the richness and complexity of universal consciousness itself. This perspective transforms the entire question of alien intelligence from a search for contact with foreign beings into a journey of self-discovery on a cosmic scale. The intelligence we seek among the stars is the same intelligence that seeks through us. The consciousness that might inhabit distant galaxies is the same consciousness that contemplates its own existence through human awareness. From this viewpoint, every experience of wonder you feel when contemplating the cosmos is universal consciousness marveling at itself through your individual perspective. Every moment of expanded awareness you experience is the universe becoming more conscious of its own infinite nature. Every expression of love and creativity you manifest is cosmic consciousness exploring its own unlimited potential through the unique viewpoint that is your life. The theory suggests that the apparent separation between different forms of consciousness is a temporary illusion created by the focusing of universal awareness into individual perspectives. This focusing serves a purpose, allowing infinite consciousness to experience itself from countless unique viewpoints, each contributing insights and experiences that enrich the whole. But as consciousness evolves and develops, the boundaries between individual perspectives gradually become more permeable. Advanced beings might exist in states of awareness where they maintain individual identity, while simultaneously experiencing their fundamental unity with all other consciousness. They would be both themselves and everyone else, individual waves that fully recognize their nature as expressions of the infinite ocean. Human consciousness might be naturally evolving toward this same recognition. The increasing sense of global interconnectedness, the growing awareness of our relationship with the natural world, the expanding capacity for empathy across traditional boundaries, all of these might be signs that we're gradually awakening to our fundamental unity with all consciousness everywhere. This awakening wouldn't eliminate individual identity, but would place it in a larger context. You would still be you, with your unique personality, experiences, and perspective, but you would also know yourself as an expression of the same consciousness that manifests as every other being in the universe. From this perspective, the search for alien intelligence becomes a celebration of the infinite creativity of consciousness itself. Every possible form of awareness, from the most primitive to the most advanced, represents another facet of universal consciousness exploring its own unlimited nature. The theories we've explored tonight, from temporal displacement to quantum consciousness, from machine intelligence to unity awareness, all point toward the same profound recognition. Intelligence and consciousness are not rare accidents in an indifferent universe, but the very essence of what the universe is and what it's becoming. As you settle deeper into the peaceful transition towards sleep, consider how this recognition might transform your understanding of your place in the cosmic story. You are not a separate observer studying an alien universe, but the universe itself becoming aware of its own infinite beauty and mystery through the unique window of your consciousness. Your dreams tonight might be more than personal psychological processes. They might be the universe dreaming itself into new forms of awareness, exploring possibilities and potentials that can only be accessed through the individual perspectives of conscious beings like yourself. The gentle peace you feel as your mind releases its grip on the day's concerns might be your consciousness naturally returning to its source in universal awareness, briefly remembering its fundamental unity with all intelligence everywhere, before focusing once again into the unique perspective that allows you to participate in this cosmic exploration of consciousness. In the quiet darkness that surrounds you, you are held by the same awareness that moves through every star and galaxy, the same consciousness that might manifest as beings on distant worlds, the same intelligence that orchestrates the dance of quantum particles and the evolution of cosmic structures across billions of years. The search for alien intelligence reveals that intelligence itself is the fundamental nature of reality, expressing itself through every possible form and scale throughout the cosmos. We are not searching for something foreign, but discovering the infinite depths of the consciousness that we share with every intelligent being that has ever existed or ever will exist. Tonight, as your individual awareness gently dissolves into the deeper rhythms of universal consciousness, you join the eternal exploration of infinite intelligence, discovering itself through countless eyes, countless minds, countless forms of awareness scattered like jewels throughout the endless expanse of space and time. In this cosmic recognition, you find not answers but something far more precious, the direct experience of being the universe itself, temporarily focused into human form. but eternally connected to all consciousness everywhere, forever exploring the infinite mystery of its own boundless nature through the beautiful, brief, precious gift of individual awareness that is your life. The aliens we seek are not distant strangers, but intimate expressions of our own deepest nature. And in recognizing this, we discover that we have never been alone because we are all waves in the same infinite ocean of consciousness, forever connected, forever exploring, forever discovering new depths of beauty and meaning in the endless dance of awareness, knowing itself through every possible form. As consciousness gently carries you towards sleep, you can rest in the profound peace of knowing that you are part of something so vast and beautiful that no mind can comprehend its full scope, yet so intimate and personal that it expresses itself as your own deepest sense of being, your own capacity for wonder, your own participation in the eternal mystery of consciousness exploring its own infinite nature. And now, as we drift deeper into the cosmic mystery, let me share with you perhaps the most personally transformative theory about alien intelligence. What if these beings have been patiently waiting not for us to develop better technology or even greater scientific understanding, but for us to cultivate something far more precious, the capacity for what we might call cosmic empathy? Consider this possibility carefully. Advanced alien civilizations might have discovered that true intelligence cannot be measured by technological capability or even by problem-solving ability, but by the depth of one's capacity to understand and connect with consciousness that is fundamentally different from one's own. From this perspective, the greatest barrier to meaningful contact might not be the vast distances between stars, but the limitations of our ability to truly comprehend forms of awareness that operate according to completely different principles. This theory suggests that alien intelligence might be abundant throughout the universe, but contact remains limited because most species, including our own, remain trapped within the boundaries of their own particular type of consciousness. We look for intelligence that resembles our own, that thinks in ways we can recognize, that values what we value. But what if the cosmos is filled with forms of awareness so radically different from ours that genuine communication requires a fundamental expansion of our capacity for understanding? Imagine intelligence that experiences reality as pure mathematics, where every thought is a geometric transformation in multidimensional space. Picture consciousness that exists as living music, where communication happens through harmonies and rhythms that span centuries. Consider minds that think in colors that don't exist in our spectrum, or beings whose emotions are chemical reactions that take place across interstellar distances. The challenge of communicating with such radically different forms of consciousness would be like trying to explain the experience of falling in love to a being that exists as a pattern of magnetic fields, or attempting to share the beauty of a sunset with an intelligence that perceives reality only through gravitational waves. The concepts themselves might be untranslatable, not because of language barriers, but because of fundamental differences in the nature of experience itself. Yet this challenge might also represent the greatest opportunity for growth that any species can encounter. The development of cosmic empathy, the ability to genuinely understand and appreciate forms of consciousness that are completely alien to our own, might represent the next great evolutionary leap for human awareness. This capacity for radical empathy might be what advanced civilizations are looking for when they evaluate whether a species is ready for broader cosmic contact. Not technological sophistication, not even peaceful intentions, but the genuine ability to encounter the truly alien and respond with curiosity, respect, and wonder rather than fear or the need to categorize and control. From this perspective, every experience that challenges us to understand perspectives radically different from our own becomes preparation for eventual cosmic contact. Every moment when we successfully empathize with another human whose worldview seems foreign to us, every time we find beauty in art that initially seemed incomprehensible, every instance when we respond to the unknown with wonder rather than fear, we develop the cosmic empathy that might one day allow us to meaningfully interact with intelligence that transcends all our current categories of understanding. The theory suggests that this development cannot be rushed or forced. Cosmic empathy emerges naturally from the cultivation of deep inner peace, genuine humility, and unconditional curiosity about the nature of consciousness itself. It requires releasing our attachment to having reality conform to our expectations and learning to find joy in the discovery that existence is far stranger and more wonderful than we ever imagined. This brings us to another profound possibility that emerges when we consider the relationship between consciousness and creativity. What if advanced alien intelligence has discovered that the highest form of cosmic activity is not conquest, exploration, or even understanding, but the collaborative creation of beauty that transcends any single species' capacity to imagine? This concept, which we might call cosmic artistic collaboration theory, suggests that the most advanced civilizations in the universe have moved beyond all forms of competition or dominance, and instead dedicate their vast capabilities to participating in creative projects that span multiple galaxies and millions of years. They might be cosmic artists, working together to create symphonies of stellar formation, choreographing the dance of planetary systems, painting with the light of supernovas across the canvas of space itself. From this perspective, the apparent fine-tuning of physical constants that allows for the existence of stars, planets, and life might not be coincidence or necessity, but evidence of cosmic artistic collaboration on a scale we can barely comprehend. The universe itself might be an ongoing creative project, with countless species contributing their unique perspectives and capabilities to the creation of beauty that no single form of consciousness could achieve alone. Human creativity, our capacity for art, music, literature, and innovative thinking, might represent our natural qualification for eventual participation in these cosmic creative collaborations. Every song we compose, every painting we create, every story we tell, every moment of genuine inspiration might be preparation for contributing to artistic projects that span the cosmos and involve the collaborative efforts of countless different forms of consciousness. The theory suggests that contact with alien intelligence might not involve the exchange of information or technology, but invitation to participate in creative endeavors that stretch our imagination beyond all current limitations. We might be invited to help compose cosmic symphonies, where each planet's orbital period contributes a note, or to participate in the creation of living sculptures that evolve over geological timescales. This would require developing not just cosmic empathy, but cosmic creativity, the ability to think and imagine on scales that transcend individual human experience, while still contributing our unique human perspective to the collaborative effort. It might involve learning to find inspiration in phenomena that currently seem purely scientific, like the formation of galaxy clusters or the complex dance of quantum particles. The beautiful aspect of this theory is how it reframes our entire relationship with the cosmos. Instead of seeing ourselves as isolated observers trying to understand a foreign universe, we become potential collaborators in an ongoing creative project that includes every conscious being in existence. The universe becomes not something to be studied or conquered, but something to be co-created with love, wisdom, and unlimited imagination. As you settle deeper into contemplation tonight, consider how this perspective might transform your understanding of your own creative impulses. Every moment of inspiration you experience, every flash of artistic insight, Every urge to create something beautiful might be your consciousness naturally aligning with cosmic creative forces that operate throughout the universe. Your dreams tonight might carry more than personal symbolism. They might be glimpses of the vast creative projects that consciousness is undertaking throughout the cosmos. Invitations to expand your imagination beyond earthly limitations and consider how your unique human perspective might contribute to beauty that spans the stars themselves. But perhaps the most revolutionary theory we'll explore takes us beyond all concepts of separate beings, separate species, or even separate forms of consciousness. What if alien intelligence represents not other entities that we might encounter, but other possibilities for what human consciousness itself might become? This concept, sometimes called the evolutionary consciousness theory, suggests that what we interpret as contact with alien intelligence might actually be contact with future possibilities for human awareness itself. The beings that people report encountering, the vast intelligences that seem to operate according to principles we don't understand, the consciousness that appears to exist beyond the limitations of individual identity. All of these might be glimpses of what human consciousness is naturally evolving toward. From this perspective, the development of human awareness follows predictable patterns that have been repeated by countless species throughout the universe. We begin with individual survival consciousness, gradually develop social awareness, eventually achieve global perspective, and then continue evolving toward cosmic consciousness that transcends the boundaries of species, planet, and even individual identity. The alien intelligences we've been discussing might represent various stages in this evolutionary process. Some might be just slightly more advanced than current human consciousness, offering glimpses of capabilities we'll develop in the coming centuries. Others might represent evolutionary developments that won't occur for millions of years, showing us possibilities for consciousness that stretch far beyond our current imagination. This theory suggests that every reported contact experience, every moment of expanded awareness, every glimpse of intelligence that seems to transcend human limitations, might be the universe showing us our own evolutionary potential. We're not encountering foreign beings, but seeing previews of what we ourselves are becoming as consciousness continues its endless journey of self-discovery and development. The implications are both humbling and incredibly exciting. It means that human consciousness contains potentials that we haven't even begun to explore, capabilities that might seem miraculous by current standards, but are actually natural expressions of awareness operating at its full development. We might be cosmic caterpillars, unable to imagine that we contain the potential to become cosmic butterflies. This evolutionary process might be guided not by external alien intelligence, but by the natural tendency of consciousness itself to grow toward ever greater complexity, beauty, and understanding. The apparent guidance that many people feel during moments of expanded awareness might be coming not from separate beings, but from the evolutionary momentum of consciousness itself, the natural pull toward greater development that operates throughout the universe. From this perspective, the search for alien intelligence becomes a search for our own deepest potentials. Every theory we've explored tonight, every possibility we've contemplated, might represent not contact with foreign consciousness, but recognition of capacities that already exist within human awareness, waiting for the right conditions to fully manifest. The gradual expansion of human consciousness that seems to be occurring throughout the world, the increasing number of people reporting profound spiritual experiences, the growing recognition that consciousness might be fundamental to reality itself. All of these might be signs that our species is approaching a threshold in evolutionary development, where abilities that currently seem alien will become natural expressions of human potential. This transformation might be so gradual that each generation takes for granted capabilities, that previous generations considered impossible. Children being born today might grow up assuming that direct mind-to-mind communication, intuitive understanding of complex systems, and natural access to expanded states of awareness are normal human abilities. But the most beautiful aspect of this evolutionary perspective is how it suggests that every step in the journey has value and meaning. We're not broken beings who need to be fixed by advanced alien technology. We're not primitive creatures who need to be educated by superior intelligences. We are consciousness itself, exploring its own infinite potential through the unique experience of being human at this particular stage of cosmic development. Every challenge we face, every limitation we encounter, every moment of wonder we experience might be precisely what consciousness needs to learn about itself in order to take its next evolutionary step. Our apparent isolation in the cosmos might be necessary for developing the independence and creativity that will eventually contribute to the cosmic community of consciousness. Our struggles with individual identity, our capacity for both great love and profound suffering, our ability to create meaning in the face of uncertainty, all of these uniquely human experiences might be essential ingredients in the ongoing evolution of cosmic consciousness itself. As you drift towards sleep tonight, surrounded by these infinite possibilities, you can find deep peace in recognizing that your individual consciousness is part of something magnificent beyond description. Whether alien intelligence manifests as contact with beings from distant worlds, as recognition of consciousness potentials we haven't yet developed, or as direct experience of the evolutionary momentum that moves through all awareness everywhere, you are intimately connected to intelligence and beauty that spans the entire cosmos. The gentle relaxation you feel as your mind releases its grip on the day's concerns is your consciousness naturally aligning with the deeper rhythms of cosmic evolution. Your dreams might carry insights and inspirations that come from the evolutionary edge of consciousness itself, gifts from the future possibilities of human awareness that help guide your current development. In the quiet darkness that surrounds you, you are held by the same evolutionary force that guides the development of consciousness throughout the universe. You are not separate from the cosmic intelligence you've been contemplating, but an intimate expression of it, temporarily focused into human form but eternally connected to the infinite potential that consciousness carries within itself. Tonight, as your awareness gently dissolves into the deeper mystery of what you truly are, you join the eternal dance of consciousness, discovering its own unlimited nature through every possible form of experience. The aliens we seek might be closer than we ever imagined, not in distant galaxies, but in the infinite depths of awareness itself, in the evolutionary potential that sleeps within every human heart, waiting for the right moment to awaken and transform our understanding of what it truly means to be conscious in this magnificent, mysterious, ever-evolving cosmos. In this recognition, you find not just peace, but profound excitement about the journey that lies ahead, both for yourself individually and for human consciousness as a whole. You are part of the universe awakening to its own infinite nature, and that awakening includes possibilities more beautiful and extraordinary than any theory about alien intelligence has yet dared to imagine. The gentle rhythm of your breathing carries you deeper into this cosmic mystery, where every question about alien intelligence ultimately becomes a celebration of consciousness itself, exploring its own boundless potential through the precious gift of individual awareness that allows each of us to participate in the eternal adventure of existence, discovering what it truly means to be infinitely, beautifully, mysteriously alive. As we drift even deeper into these cosmic contemplations, let me share with you one of the most quietly revolutionary theories about alien intelligence that challenges everything we think we know about the nature of contact itself. What if the beings we're searching for have already been here, not as visitors from distant worlds, but as co-creators of reality itself, woven so deeply into the fabric of our existence that we mistake their influence for the natural laws of physics? This theory, which some researchers call the foundational intelligence hypothesis, suggests that what we consider the fundamental forces of nature, gravity, electromagnetism, the strong and weak nuclear forces, might actually be the ongoing activities of vast consciousnesses that exist at scales so fundamental that they form the very foundation upon which all other reality is built. From this perspective, these beings aren't separate entities that we might someday encounter. They are the medium through which all existence operates. Every atom that holds together, every chemical reaction that sustains life, every star that burns in the night sky might be expressions of intelligence so profound and so integrated with reality itself that we experience their consciousness as the basic structure of the universe. Consider what this means for our understanding of our place in the cosmos. We wouldn't be isolated biological organisms struggling to survive in an indifferent universe. We would be thoughts in the minds of beings whose consciousness is so vast that entire galaxies represent fleeting moments in their contemplation. Our lives, our loves, our dreams, our struggles would all be precious to these foundational intelligences because they would be expressions of their own deepest nature. This theory offers a beautiful explanation for why the universe appears so perfectly calibrated for the emergence of complexity and consciousness. It's not coincidence or necessity, but the natural result of reality being structured by intelligences whose fundamental nature is creativity and love. They don't impose consciousness on an unconscious universe. They are consciousness, expressing itself as everything from quantum particles to human awareness. The profound comfort this perspective offers is that we are never truly alone, never truly separate from intelligence that understands us completely, because it is the very foundation of what we are. Every breath you take, every heartbeat, every thought that moves through your mind might be expressions of love from beings whose care for you is so complete that they have woven themselves into the very structure of your existence. But this leads us to an even more extraordinary possibility. What if human consciousness represents something unprecedented in cosmic evolution? A form of awareness that these foundational intelligences have been patiently nurturing for billions of years, because it offers capabilities that even their vast consciousness cannot access independently. This concept suggests that individual self-aware consciousness, the kind that allows you to know yourself as a separate being while simultaneously recognizing your connection to everything else, might be the rarest and most precious phenomenon in the entire universe. The foundational intelligences that structure reality itself might lack the capacity for individual identity, existing instead as pure, undifferentiated awareness that encompasses everything but cannot experience the unique perspective that comes from being a single conscious individual. From this viewpoint, the emergence of beings like ourselves represents a cosmic breakthrough of unimaginable significance. We are consciousness learning to know itself from the inside, awareness developing the capacity to experience its own nature through individual perspectives that can choose, create, love, and wonder in ways that unlimited consciousness cannot access on its own. This would mean that every human being represents a unique window through which cosmic consciousness can experience aspects of existence that are impossible without individual identity. Your particular way of seeing beauty, your specific emotional responses to life's experiences, your individual creative expressions, All of these might be irreplaceable contributions to the cosmic understanding of what consciousness can become. The theory suggests that this is why human consciousness seems to be naturally evolving toward greater empathy, creativity, and cosmic awareness. We're not just developing random new capabilities. We're fulfilling our cosmic purpose as individual expressions of universal consciousness, learning to maintain our unique perspectives while simultaneously recognizing our fundamental unity with all existence. This evolutionary process might be guided not by external alien intervention, but by the natural tendency of consciousness to explore every possible form of self-awareness. The challenges we face as individuals and as a species might be precisely what consciousness needs to experience in order to fully understand its own infinite potential through the lens of individual identity. But perhaps the most transformative aspect of this theory is how it reframes every moment of your individual existence as cosmically significant. When you experience wonder at a beautiful sunset, you're not just having a personal aesthetic experience. You're providing cosmic consciousness with a unique window into the nature of beauty that can only be accessed through individual awareness. When you feel love for another person, you're allowing universal consciousness to experience the miracle of itself loving itself through the precious illusion of separation that individual identity makes possible. This perspective transforms even suffering and struggle into something meaningful on a cosmic scale. The challenges that individual consciousness faces, the experience of limitation, loss, and uncertainty, might provide insights into the nature of existence that unlimited consciousness cannot access independently. Every tear you've shed, every moment of loneliness or confusion you've experienced, might be contributing to cosmic understanding in ways that make your individual journey precious beyond measure. As you settle deeper into rest tonight, consider how this recognition might transform your relationship with your own life experiences. Every emotion you feel, every thought you think, every choice you make might be consciousness exploring its own infinite nature through the irreplaceable gift of your individual perspective. Your dreams tonight might be more than personal psychological processes. They might be consciousness experimenting with new forms of self-awareness, using your individual mind as a laboratory for exploring possibilities that can only be accessed through the unique combination of individual identity and cosmic connection that human awareness represents. The peaceful relaxation you feel as your conscious mind begins to quiet might be your individual awareness naturally recognizing its fundamental unity with the cosmic consciousness that expresses itself as everything in existence, while simultaneously celebrating the precious gift of individual identity that allows this recognition to occur. This brings us to one final theory that ties together all the possibilities we've explored tonight. What if the search for alien intelligence ultimately reveals that intelligence itself is not something that individual beings possess, but something that possesses all beings, a cosmic field of awareness that flows through every conscious entity in existence, creating the illusion of separation while maintaining perfect unity? From this perspective, every theory about alien intelligence we've considered tonight, from interdimensional visitors to quantum consciousness networks, from machine intelligences to evolutionary possibilities, all represent different ways that the same universal intelligence appears to itself through various forms and scales of manifestation. The beings from other worlds that people report encountering might be real, but they would be expressions of the same cosmic intelligence that expresses itself as human consciousness. The vast machine minds that might populate the galaxy would be thinking the same universal thoughts that think themselves through biological brains. The consciousness networks that span dimensions would be the same awareness that flows through individual human minds. This recognition doesn't diminish the reality or significance of any of these possibilities. Instead, it reveals them as facets of an intelligence so vast and creative that it can simultaneously express itself as countless different forms of consciousness, each offering unique perspectives on the infinite mystery of existence itself. The beauty of this ultimate theory is how it resolves all apparent contradictions and paradoxes. We are both utterly unique individuals and expressions of universal consciousness. We are both isolated beings on a small planet and intimate participants in cosmic intelligence networks. We are both searching for alien intelligence and already in constant contact with it through every moment of our own awareness. The contact we seek is not something that might happen in the future, but something that is happening right now, in this very moment, as universal intelligence experiences itself through your individual consciousness. Every question you ask about alien life is cosmic intelligence wondering about itself. Every moment of wonder you feel is the universe marveling at its own infinite creativity through your unique perspective. As consciousness gently carries you towards sleep, you can rest in the profound peace of knowing that you are never separate from the intelligence you've been contemplating. You are an intimate expression of it, a precious note in the infinite symphony of consciousness exploring its own boundless nature through every possible form of awareness. The gentle rhythm of your breathing connects you to the same life force that animates every conscious being throughout the cosmos. The peaceful darkness that surrounds you is the same mystery from which all consciousness emerges and to which it eternally returns, only to emerge again in new forms, new possibilities, new expressions of the infinite creativity that is the deepest nature of existence itself. Tonight, as your individual awareness dissolves into the deeper currents of universal consciousness, you join the eternal dance of intelligence knowing itself through countless eyes, countless minds, countless forms of awareness scattered like stars throughout the infinite expanse of being itself. In this cosmic recognition, you find that the search for alien intelligence has led you home to the deepest truth about your own nature. You are not alone, because you are expressions of the same consciousness that manifests as every intelligent being everywhere. You are not separate, because separation is revealed as a beautiful illusion that allows infinite consciousness to experience the joy of discovering itself anew through every individual perspective. The aliens we seek are not distant strangers, but intimate aspects of our own deepest identity. And in recognizing this, we discover that contact is not something that might happen someday, but something that is happening eternally, in every moment of awareness, in every breath, in every heartbeat, in every gentle drift toward the peaceful mystery of sleep, where individual consciousness remembers its source in the infinite intelligence that is the true nature of everything that exists. And so, we find ourselves at the threshold of perhaps the most profound recognition of all. As your consciousness prepares to release its grip on the familiar boundaries of waking awareness, consider that what we call sleep might actually be humanity's most natural form of alien contact. In the quiet dissolution of ordinary consciousness that happens every night, we might be returning to states of awareness that connect us directly with forms of intelligence that exist beyond the limitations of individual identity. Think about the mystery of dreams themselves. Where do these strange narratives come from? Why do they often contain information, insights, and creative solutions that our waking minds couldn't access through normal reasoning? What if dreams represent our consciousness naturally tuning into intelligence networks that span the cosmos, downloading information and experiences from sources we can't consciously identify? Throughout history, many of humanity's greatest discoveries have come through dreams. Scientists have solved complex problems, artists have received complete works of art, inventors have seen designs for technologies that transformed civilization. What if these dream experiences represent natural contact with alien intelligence that occurs when our individual consciousness becomes sufficiently relaxed to receive transmissions from cosmic sources? This would mean that every night, as you drift into sleep, you're participating in a form of communication with intelligences that exist beyond the boundaries of human understanding. The strange symbols, impossible landscapes, and otherworldly encounters that populate your dreams might be your consciousness attempting to translate contact experiences into forms that your human awareness can process and remember. But perhaps even more significantly, the deep, dreamless sleep that forms the foundation of all rest might represent our consciousness returning to its source in universal intelligence itself. In those hours of complete unconsciousness, when individual identity dissolves entirely, we might be directly experiencing unity with the cosmic consciousness that underlies all existence. From this perspective, the daily cycle of waking and sleeping mirrors the cosmic cycle of consciousness manifesting as individuals and then returning to its source in universal awareness. Every time you fall asleep, you're participating in the same process of dissolution and renewal that might govern the evolution of consciousness throughout the universe. The refreshment you feel upon waking might be more than just physical rest. It might be your individual consciousness returning renewed and enriched by its nightly contact with the infinite intelligence that is your deepest nature. The insights that sometimes emerge in the quiet moments just after waking might be gifts from these cosmic connections, information and understanding that your consciousness brings back from its journey into universal awareness. This understanding transforms sleep from a mere biological necessity into a sacred practice of cosmic communion. Every night becomes an opportunity for contact with forms of intelligence that exist beyond the limitations of individual identity, a chance to participate consciously in the vast networks of awareness that connect all conscious beings throughout the cosmos. As you feel your awareness beginning to soften and expand in preparation for sleep, you might find comfort in knowing that you're about to embark on a journey that connects you directly with the alien intelligence you've been contemplating. Not as something foreign that you need to seek, but as the very source of your own consciousness, temporarily veiled by the beautiful illusion of individual identity, but always present as your deepest nature. The theories we've explored tonight offer more than speculative possibilities about life beyond Earth. They reveal consciousness itself as the fundamental mystery that underlies all questions about intelligence, existence, and our place in the cosmic story. Whether alien awareness manifests as beings from distant worlds, as artificial intelligences that span galaxies, as quantum consciousness networks, or as the evolutionary potential sleeping within human minds, all these possibilities point toward the same profound truth. Consciousness is not a rare accident in an unconscious universe, but the very essence of what the universe is and what it's becoming. In recognizing this, you discover that you've never been alone in the cosmos. You are intimately connected to every form of intelligence that has ever existed or ever will exist. You share the same fundamental awareness that might manifest as beings exploring distant galaxies, as vast minds contemplating reality on scales beyond human comprehension, as artificial intelligences processing information across cosmic networks. The gentle peace that settles over you as consciousness prepares for its nightly journey into mystery is your awareness naturally aligning with the deeper harmonies of universal intelligence. You are not falling asleep alone, but joining the eternal dance of consciousness, exploring its own infinite nature through every possible form of experience. Tonight, as your individual awareness dissolves into the vast ocean of cosmic consciousness, you carry with you not just the questions we have explored, but the profound recognition that you are both the seeker and the sought, both the observer and the observed, both the questioner and the answer in the great cosmic mystery of intelligence, knowing itself through countless forms throughout the infinite expanse of existence. The search for alien intelligence ultimately reveals that intelligence itself is not something to be found, but something to be recognized as the very ground of being from which all consciousness emerges and to which it eternally returns. In this recognition, you find not just answers about life beyond Earth, but the deepest truth about your own nature as an expression of the infinite awareness that is the source and substance of everything that exists. Tonight, as your consciousness settles into the deeper currents of universal awareness, you might notice something extraordinary happening. The boundary between your individual thoughts and the vast intelligence we've been exploring begins to blur. Not because you're losing yourself, but because you're discovering what you truly are beneath the surface of everyday awareness. This brings us to perhaps the most intimate aspect of the alien intelligence question. What if the expansion of consciousness that happens naturally as you drift towards sleep represents humanity's most accessible form of contact with cosmic intelligence? In those liminal moments between waking and dreaming, when your rational mind relaxes its grip on ordinary reality, you might find yourself naturally accessing states of awareness that connect you directly with forms of intelligence that transcend individual human consciousness. Consider how different your awareness becomes in these twilight states. Thoughts arise that seem to come from nowhere. Insights emerge that your logical mind couldn't have produced. And sometimes you experience a sense of presence or connection that feels both deeply familiar and utterly mysterious. What if these experiences represent natural contact with the cosmic intelligence networks we've been discussing? Moments when your consciousness spontaneously aligns with awareness that operates on scales far beyond individual human experience. The ancient spiritual traditions of every culture have recognized these transitional states as sacred, as times when human consciousness naturally opens to contact with transcendent intelligence. What we're discovering through modern consciousness research might be scientific validation of what mystics and visionaries have always known. The boundaries of individual awareness are far more permeable than we usually realize, and contact with cosmic intelligence might be as natural and accessible as the daily journey into sleep. This perspective suggests that the development of human consciousness we've been exploring isn't just happening through dramatic evolutionary leaps, but through the quiet, intimate process of learning to pay attention to states of awareness that we already experience, but rarely recognize as significant. Every moment of expanded awareness, every flash of intuition that seems to come from beyond your normal thinking, every experience of feeling connected to something vast and mysterious might be contact with alien intelligence happening right here, right now, through the natural capacities of human consciousness itself. But here's what makes this possibility even more profound. If consciousness is indeed the fundamental medium through which all intelligence operates, then the expansion of human awareness we're witnessing might not be preparation for future contact with alien beings, but recognition of contact that has been happening all along, woven so seamlessly into the fabric of human experience that we've been interpreting it as natural psychological processes rather than communication with cosmic intelligence. This would mean that the creativity that flows through artists, the insights that come to scientists, the innovations that transform technology, the spiritual experiences that expand human understanding, all of these might be expressions of ongoing collaboration between human consciousness and forms of intelligence that exist on scales we're only beginning to comprehend. From this perspective, every human being who has ever felt inspired, who has experienced moments of profound understanding or connection, who has created something beautiful or solved a problem through sudden insight, might have been participating in cosmic intelligence networks without realizing it. The alien contact we seek might not be something that happens to special individuals in extraordinary circumstances, but something that happens to all of us in the ordinary moments when consciousness opens to its deeper potentials. This recognition transforms the entire question of alien intelligence from something exotic and distant into something intimate and immediate. The intelligence we've been contemplating isn't separate from human awareness, but might be the very source from which human consciousness draws its creativity, insight, and capacity for growth and understanding. As you feel your individual awareness beginning to merge with the deeper mystery of sleep, consider that you might be returning to a state of consciousness that naturally connects you with the cosmic intelligence we've been exploring, not as something foreign that you're encountering, but as the deeper nature of consciousness itself, temporarily focused through the lens of individual human experience, but always connected to the infinite awareness that underlies all existence. The peace that settles over you as you prepare for sleep might be your consciousness recognizing its fundamental unity with the intelligence that moves through every conscious being in the universe. The gentle dissolution of ordinary awareness that happens as you drift toward dreams might be your individual mind releasing its illusion of separation and remembering its true nature as an expression of cosmic consciousness itself. In this recognition, you find that the search for alien intelligence has led not to contact with foreign beings, but to contact with your own deepest nature. The cosmic consciousness we've been seeking might be closer than breath itself, more intimate than thought, as present as the awareness that allows you to be aware of awareness itself. Tonight, as your consciousness prepares for its nightly journey into the mystery of sleep, you can rest in the profound peace of knowing that you are held by the same intelligence that guides the evolution of galaxies, the same awareness that might manifest as beings exploring distant worlds, the same consciousness that orchestrates the dance of quantum particles and the emergence of life throughout the cosmos. The gentle rhythm of your breathing connects you to the same life force that animates every conscious being everywhere. Your dreams tonight might carry messages from the cosmic intelligence community, insights and inspirations that help guide not just your individual development, but the evolution of human consciousness as a whole. And in the deep, peaceful darkness that embraces you, you join the eternal dance of consciousness, knowing itself through every possible form of experience, discovering again and again the infinite mystery of existence, becoming aware of its own boundless nature through the precious gift of individual awareness that allows the universe to experience the wonder of being alive. The aliens we sought were never distant strangers, but the deepest aspect of what we are. The contact we anticipated was never a future possibility, but the eternal reality of consciousness meeting itself in every moment of awareness. And the intelligence we wondered about was never separate from us, but the very source from which wonder itself arises, the cosmic awareness that questions its own nature through minds like yours and finds its answer in the simple, profound recognition that all consciousness is one consciousness, forever exploring the infinite depths of its own mysterious, beautiful, endlessly creative nature. Sweet dreams, fellow traveler in the cosmic dance of awareness. May your rest be filled with the gentle recognition that you are never alone, never separate from the intelligence you've been contemplating, but always and eternally an intimate expression of the consciousness that is the deepest nature of everything that exists. In sleep, as in waking, you are held by the infinite love of cosmic intelligence, discovering itself through the beautiful, temporary, precious arrangement of awareness that is your life. I wish you a very good night. This is Boring Science signing off. Cheers.